Thursday evening, South Carolina Weather Watchers. I'm the host for South Carolina Weather, Jason Peterson, and let's talk about the weather for your Thursday evening. Now, looking at the radar right now, as you can see, nothing's going on inside the state of South Carolina right now. Not much is happening at all. But we do have something that we have to talk about because look up here. For mainly the upstate of South Carolina, we have air quality alerts. Now, you might be wondering, what does this mean? The South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control in Columbia, South Carolina, has issued a code orange ground level ozone action day for the upstate region of South Carolina from 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. An ozone action day means that the atmospheric conditions will likely produce unhealthy concentrations of ground level ozone air pollution. A code orange forecast indicates that ground level ozone concentrations are expected to be unhealthy for sensitive groups, which includes people with lung disease, older adults, and children. Sensitive groups should reduce prolonged or heavy outdoor exertion, take more breaks, and do less intense activities, especially during the afternoon and the early evening hours. You can help prevent ozone pollution by walking or riding your bicycle, taking your lunch to work, reducing idling, conserving energy, and keeping your vehicle properly tuned. For additional information, please visit the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control website at www.scdhec.gov/ozone or the Environmental Protection Agency. So, again, here's pretty much the entire thing right here. You probably weren't able to see some of it, but here it is. So, pretty much what it's saying is that it's pretty much air quality alerts. The ozone going to be some ozone pollution as we get into tomorrow around 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock p.m. If you know anybody inside the upstate that's not watching me or does not watch me at all, and you know somebody inside the upstate, please let them know. Children, older adults like elderly people, and people with lung disease as well needs to be not really be outside too much and not to be exerting a lot of energy. Drink water, do all that kind of stuff if you're in the upstate and you're watching this. But enough about the air quality alert. Let's go and talk about the entire United States. So we do have some severe weather going on for Illinois, going all the way down to the panhandle of Oklahoma. This does include places like Kansas City, Wichita, Kansas, just pretty much to the south and west of Chicago, as well as just to the south of Des Moines. And we do have severe thunderstorm watches and some tornado warnings going on in Missouri right now. We do have some severe weather going on in Canada right now, as well as some showers and downpours going through the Indiana and Ohio regions. We also do have some rain over here just to our east in the Atlantic. Florida is finally in kind of the ending stages of their whole flooding outbreak that they've had. They have a high risk of excessive rainfall going into today and tonight. So hopefully that'll be pretty much it for them. I think they still do have a chance tomorrow, but in terms of the biggest threat, it's pretty much over. We have air quality alerts spread all the way out throughout this deep south, the Ohio Valley going all the way into the south central U.S. We do have some rain, even inside of these regions here that are inside of excessive heat warnings, excessive heat watches, heat advisory. They are getting some rain right now, so that's really good for them. Downpours spread out all the way through the Four Corners region, the Rockies, and the California Valley, as well as up here inside of Washington. We do have some showers and downpours going through there right now. So that's pretty much all throughout the United States. And let's continue and talk about cloud cover. So cloud cover right now, we do have some cloud cover pretty much near the Myrtle Beach area, some low clouds and maybe even some low clouds up there inside of the upstate. But again, everyone seems to be clear, so not really watching for too much in terms of cloud cover. Going into the next 18 or so hours, though, you can see that it's kind of spread out a little bit. And there probably will be a time tomorrow, I'd say around like early tomorrow morning, where the entire state is not seeing a cloud in the sky. There's a chance that the entire state might not see a cloud in the sky tomorrow morning, especially tomorrow morning, maybe even going to tomorrow afternoon as well. So it's going to be a nice sunny day tomorrow. Here's our current temperatures: 82 in Greenville, 80 in Columbia, 77 in Charleston, 79 in Savannah, 75 in Myrtle Beach, 84 in Augusta, 80 in Florence, 79 in Rock Hill, 84 in Bennettsville, and 79 King Street, 77 in Moncks Corner. Here's our low temperatures for tonight, around 72 in Charleston, 74 in Hilton Head, 71 in Myrtle Beach, 67 in Columbia, 67 in Aiken, 68 in Greenville, as well as 67 in Spartanburg, Anderson, 66 in Rock Hill, and then 66 in Cheraw. Here's our forecast precipitation, really I'd say for tonight, but for the next 24 hours. We do have a little chance for some precipitation up there inside of the very northern portions of South Carolina for today, Thursday, 8 o'clock going into Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. as well. So just watch out for some showers if you're up there. Really in like the very, very northwestern portion of South Carolina, the very northern upstate of South Carolina. Here's our severe weather outlook. You can see that we pretty much are not under any type of threat of severe weather. You can see that parts of the coast is under a TSTM. I pretty much get rid of that. There's really no more chance for any type of thunderstorms. You can see in the new updated model, it's not. Then here's tomorrow. We do have a chance for some thunderstorm development up there for northern South Carolina. So those showers that are possible up there inside of the upstate of South Carolina could potentially put in some thunderstorms. So honestly, there's really a chance of rain pretty much almost all of northern South Carolina. We'll talk about that more tomorrow morning, and we'll see what that has to do, and we'll look at the models and all that stuff. Here is our excessive rainfall for the next 5 days. You can see Florida down there, especially near like the Miami regions as well, getting around a high risk of excessive rainfall, where I think are already around 15 to 17 inches have fallen down there in near the Miami regions. So again, if you know anybody down there, please check up on them and see if they're fine down there. But in terms of South Carolina, nothing for days 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So we're good in terms of excessive rainfall. And this is the main part that I want to talk about. So we have this disturbance out here. It's a low pressure. It's bringing some gusty winds to South Carolina. We probably felt them today if you ever went outside. I think the max gust I got in my house was around 20 miles an hour, and that's what was forecasted for me today. So they're accurate in terms of that. But 20 miles an hour today, and pretty much it just brought some rain to the coast, and that's pretty much all it did. But it brought Florida all of that rain. So now that it left Florida, what's next? So you can see here that in the next 7 days, in this little region right here, if it stays in the region, which is where it was forecasted to go, it does have a chance to potentially try and become into a tropical depression. Now, right now, it's really low, 20%, 20% chance of forming in the next 2 days, 20% chance of forming in the next 7 days. So we're still very low confidence on this. There's a good chance that it might not do anything. The only reason why it was an invest was because of all the rain that it was bringing to Florida. But as it continues through the next 7 days, we're going to have to watch out for this, see what it does. I don't really think that it's really a threat to South Carolina, but maybe a threat up here, maybe bringing some heavy rain up here into the northeast. We'll see what happens, though. This is the main area that I'm watching for, especially not really for South Carolina, because I think that this area also right here will not probably do anything in terms with South Carolina. But in this orange region right here, you can see we have a 0% chance of this forming in the next 48 hours, but there is a 40% chance of this forming in the next 7 days. So we're going to have to watch, especially for like the Mexico, Texas regions as well. I'd really be watching for that for at least a tropical storm if the models are correct. Southern Texas and Mexico really, I think, are the main locations for this. Definitely gusty winds. Definitely some heavy rain in terms of that. I'll show you all the models in a second, but they're painting a picture that pretty much shows this thing going all the way into the Mexico, Texas, somewhere around there. Here is our model. So here is Tropical Tidbits. Let me turn on. Okay, I have my pen, so I should be able to turn it on for y'all if I need to be. So this system right here is going to move on out of here, and it's not really going to do too much in terms of, South Carolina. Maybe bringing some showers around on June. I'd say around June the 5th, late June the 15th, early June the 16th. May have to watch out for some showers as well, even going into the 17th as well. But once that continues through the 18th as well is looking to be like a pretty good day for us, maybe even the 19th as well. And you can already see down here, you see a 996 millibar low pressure forming, a heavy rain moving into like the Houston regions as well, and just to the southwest of the Houston regions as well. We're going to be watching for some very heavy rain going to southeastern Texas, as well, bringing very beneficial rain to Texas going into June the 20th as well. Early morning June the 20th, some flash flooding conditions also might be met, so you're going to have to also watch out for flash flooding. And continuing this forward, we do have a little tiny, I don't know what's going on here. It's not really a system, but it's kind of just like some weird disturbance that's going to try and make it to South Carolina, may bring us some showers, maybe some storms as well, but I'm not really watching for anything too much as we go into the 22nd. But then, look at this thing, okay? So, this was the first system right here that I was watching for the next 7 days. But then look at this one. We're going to continue this forward. Look at that. That's a 969 millibar low pressure. That's almost Category 2 status if you was to include the millibar chart. So this would probably be a strong Category 1 that goes into Mexico on June the 24th. And again, bringing another round of beneficial rain to Texas. And it kind of stalls. I mean, according to this model run, it stalls near Mexico for a long, long time. So if this happened, this would bring very flooding conditions, and those winds would be whipping for a long time. I mean, for maybe even for like multiple hours, maybe even days. And it also brings a lot of heavy rain, not only to Texas and Mexico as well, but like Louisiana, like New Orleans, Baton Rouge as well could also be seeing a lot of this rain. And while they're receiving that rain, look up to the north. We're also going to be receiving some rain as well, all the way up here. And this may not even have to do anything with the system in general. This might just be rain from something else. But again, this is in La La Land. This is not going to be exactly what happens, but it's something just to keep in mind that the models are showing this, especially this early. But the moisture is being pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's being brought into South Carolina. And that's going to bring us definitely some thunderstorms as we go into June the 26th, maybe. Getting a bit too far out. But then we finally have a landfall going into very southern Texas, like I think it's Brownsville, Texas, if I'm not mistaken, or I may have got that wrong. But it's Brown something, Texas. And that's pretty much it for the whole thing. So very, very active. I'd say like the next 2 or so weeks, very active in terms of rain, and very active in terms of pretty much the entire southeastern, deep south, and south central United States. Now let's talk about the 500 millibar winds. So let me go and check out let me go to the entire United States. And we're going to talk about the 500 millibar height and anomaly. We can zoom our way down. We can. All right, but I'm not going to do that right now. We're going to look at the entire United States. So looking through it, here is pretty much what's going on right now. Here's around 8 o'clock. You can see that we have the oranges and the reds and the blues. So the reds are the nice, warm, maybe even hot weather, and then the blue is the very unsettled weather for the next, pretty much for what's in the atmosphere. It pretty much records the height, and the blues are the very unsettled, cooler like temperatures, and then the reds, the more warmer temperatures with the more fair weather, if that makes sense. So if we just push this forward, you can see here that, I mean, there's going to be obviously a switch, especially as you can see, you got this whole, the whole just nice weather going on in the east, going on at around June the 17th. Now, there's obviously going to be some chances for some rain, but in terms of just the overall weather in general for the entire East Coast is going to be pretty nice. And over here in the West, it's going to be very unsettled, cooler like temperatures, but rainfall is still going to be a thing. So not really, anything too bad. But then as we get to around, I'd say around June the 17th, you can see that the warm air and the cold air are trying to connect with each other. And in the middle, I hope you know what happens when cold air and warm air meet, but they make thunderstorms. So I'm going to draw like a little thunderstorm here. I don't know. I don't think I'm doing that right, but um, they make thunderstorms in the middle where they collide at. And every time we get severe weather, that's because a cold air and a warm air mass are pretty much colliding with each other. Usually, especially with severe weather, severe weather's the main. That's the main thing with severe weather. When cold air and warm air meet up with each other, that's what causes that severe weather. So, very unsettled weather in the west, very nice weather in the east going into like the 17th. And then we may even have an intermittent heat wave going on inside of the northeast going into June the 19th as well. You can see here, you have like the deeper reds, you have better weather the more deeper it gets. Like if you get into the purples, you're going to be having nice weather. I mean, that's going to be hot and it's going to be, well, if you like hot weather, then I guess it would be nice. But if you don't like hot weather, it probably would not be nice for you. But you can see we do have high temperatures all and fair condition going on in the northeast, as they probably will be getting a heat wave going into June the 19th. That's around next week, mid next week, I'd say. And then in terms of South Carolina, we're doing well. And then there may even be a period going on to around June the 21st, to where the entire United States could be seeing pretty decent weather. Not everyone, someone's going to see rain, but there could be a chance to where everyone in the United States is not really seeing anything. And then there goes that hurricane that we were talking about, that's stalling over there near Mexico. And you can see the warm air kind of getting pushed by this hurricane, kind of pushing it all out. And then it's going to pretty much stall out. And then warm air is going to, and fair weather is actually going to take over the north, as the south is going to be getting hit with all of this rain and wind. And that's pretty much it for the next I say pretty much from now all the way to June the 29th. So we're about to get into July forecasting, which is going to be like the next couple of days. So let's go and talk to the audience. So if you want to be a party of the audience, you can by leaving a comment, questions, comments, concerns, or anything that you guys have to offer. And let's talk about this. So, good evening to you, Mr. Anthony, as well as Good Jay. Thank you, and your mom. No problem. And then we have, hi Joseph, how are you? I'm doing well. Good evening, Joseph. How's your summer going? I hope you're enjoying it. You were doing great. Thank you for that. Hey Joseph, hello. Brownsville is correct. Okay, at least I got that one, that name correct. And then you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much for that. And let's go on it and do on our Raleigh and then our San Antonio forecast, and then we'll do the ratings as well. And so if you guys want to leave your ratings now, that's obviously fine. If you were there for it, and also if you watched this morning's video as well, and you want to leave it for this morning's video as well, you can leave those as well. If you don't know what the stars ranking system is, I've been doing that pretty much for just seeing where I am and how good I did for the forecast updates. So if I did horrible, 1 star. If I did good or great, perfect, almost 10 stars. And again, no biasness at all. I just want it to be straight up. No, like if I did horrible and you want to give me a 1 star, that's gonna be acceptable. But here's our San Antonio forecast. So let's go into the models. And we're going to move into the 18Z and move our way forward. Again, not going into tonight, not really seeing anything in terms of precipitation. Same thing with tomorrow afternoon. And then even going into the evening hours and the night hours as well. No precipitation at all for tomorrow. But then as you get into the 15th, again, not for the morning and the early afternoon, not really watching for any type of precipitation going into those hours either. So I'm gonna zoom out. Well, actually, I will do temperatures down here as well. Let me go do temperatures. And then we're going to let this thing do its thing and try and load a little bit. And then we'll talk about the temperatures for San Antonio for the next 2 days, for the next 48 hours. So, pushing this forward now. As we wait. Alright, pushing this forward now. You can see tonight, low temperatures around 76. And then tomorrow, high temperatures around 99. Just getting close to 100, not really to 100. And then as you go into tomorrow night, lows around 74. And then at around 2 o'clock on, seems to be Saturday, it will be around 93 degrees. So let's move on up here towards Raleigh, North Carolina. And then we'll talk about severe weather for both. So up here inside of Raleigh, North Carolina. Let me move this up a little bit. Alright, so moving this forward, tonight low temperatures around, seems to be around 66, and then tomorrow high temperatures around 94. Tomorrow night low temperatures around 73, and then around 2 o'clock on Saturday it'll be around 88 degrees in Raleigh, North Carolina. And then in terms of precipitation as well, as we move this back, as we continue going into for tonight, not really a chance for precipitation tonight. You may have some showers though just to your west at around tomorrow morning, around 7 o'clock. Not really expected to hit the downtown Raleigh area though. And then continuing through for 11 o'clock tomorrow, you could actually see some downpours going to the 11, 12 o'clock. And actually these could be thunderstorms as well. So you have to watch out for some thunderstorms tomorrow night at around 12 a.m., 1 a.m. as well. And then that's pretty much that in terms of rain. Now let's go and talk about severe weather. Move on to the severe weather outlooks. You can see here as we go into today, nothing for today. You're under a TSTM for Raleigh for tomorrow, so watch out for some thunderstorms tomorrow, and nothing for day 3. And it's pretty much the same thing for San Antonio as well. Nothing for day 1, nothing for day 2. And nothing for day 3. Let me just move down here because, I make mistakes sometimes. So we're just going to go and check it out real quick just to make sure. So again, nothing for day 1, nothing for day 2, and then nothing for day 3, yes. In terms of excessive rainfall as well, I know it's nothing for Raleigh in terms of excessive rainfall, but for San Antonio, nothing for days 1 through 3. And then nothing for day 4 or 5, but just to your east, you do have some excessive rainfall that will be going on for like New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lake Charles, Lafayette, New Iberia, and Bay City, Galveston, Texas as well. So those are that's your excessive rainfall forecast, and that's the 10.5 rate. Excellent, thank you. That's breaking the scale. But I think that's all that I have. And let me zoom my way back in. Remember the air quality alert as well. If you know anybody again inside the upstate that's not watching this right now, and you need to let them know they're like an elderly person or a child or somebody with lung problems, please let them know, because that is something that you also don't want to mess around with too much. And I think we talked about everything in terms of weather news. We talked about Florida. We talked about severe weather for Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. And then the heat down there for the Southwest. And I think that's it. So I'm going to head on out. If we have any other questions, I'll be here for about another 5 minutes. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday night. And I will be back tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock a.m. with another forecast update. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the share button, as we're at 118. 5 likes, 6 people watching the stream.